Alex, tell us about the interview process.
How in the what? Well, I went to apply to Cargill. You go to the in Harrison. You go to the Virginia Unemployment Commission, and there they sort of cater to people in English and Spanish, and they're very nice. They let you in. The lady at the front desk, I knew.
¿Usted no quería hablar en español?
Bien. Fue a comisión de empleado. Y
¿Hablaste en español?
no. Cuando preguntaron si quieres aplicación en inglés o español, yo dije,
Inglés.
bien, lo que hay.
Lo que hay. Y ellos le di lo de inglés.
Ajá. Y
Basically, what we just said was that I asked him if he asked for the Spanish version, and he said he asked for whatever, and they gave him the English version.
yeah. But they were nice. They didn't really feel like answering my questions about dignity of the workers and stuff.
What do you mean? You asked them and they didn't answer?
Well, they just didn't have really anything to say.
What did you ask them?
I don't remember. Well, first I was doing the application and I was sort of thinking from the perspective of somebody who doesn't really understand the application process so much or doesn't, I don't know. So I asked them, I don't know, maybe could you help me understand this? And they didn't really want to, but
Okay.
so I did it on my own, and then eventually I figured out what the different positions meant. They had a list of positions, and you could say, said choose one shift or one position, and you just mark what you want to do. There's a whole bunch of different jobs. There's tearing the chickens apart. There's packing them. There's packing sausages. There's all kinds of stuff.
And what did you choose?
I chose what's called the cone line. There's these big cones, and I think what they do is the chicken comes and you sort of cut it up and you tear it apart and you stick it on the machine.
So you applied.
So I put my little application in, and they said, well, if we don't call you by Friday, you have to come apply again. That's what they tell people. Come apply again.
But they called you the next day.
They called me the next day.
And what happened then?
Well, I missed their call, and then I called them several times before they picked up. And she said, yeah, come on in. Can you come in on Wednesday? And I said, yeah, sure. So I rode my bike down there, just like a half-hour ride down out into the countryside, down to the factory, and I walked, and they let me park my bike behind the security office, and I sort of stumbled in there, and I sat in the little waiting room for a while. Well, first they lead you in. It's really like if you're not confident, or if you don't like. If you're new to this whole, I don't know, factory thing or U.S. job thing, it's really scary. Because they lead you into this building and you're like going down all these different caves and tunnels of hallways. And you're like, what's going to happen? Where are we going? But you get to this waiting room and you wait there for a while. And then the lady called me, probably just right on time, I think, my interview. And she said, oh, well, how are you doing? I said, good. How are you? I tried to speak direct. I tried to ask her, how are you? Like, but she was too busy with her papers. And she started to ask me questions like, well, are you going to be able to come to work on time? Have you applied anywhere else? I said, yeah, a couple restaurants. And she said, well, what will happen if they accept you first? And I said, well, restaurants sort of give you hours here and there, so maybe I don't know what I would do. Maybe I'd take this job. And she said, why? And I said, well, because it gives you just straight hours. And she said things like, well, what was your last job? Well, I was working on little farms in Central America. And what's a good manager? And what do you expect? Well, dignity of people. I talked about some different things.
Those questions are similar to interviews I've had in the past.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And
what's your ideal
yeah,
manager?
it's very just formulated, which is fine, but they were trying to get through a lot of people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, but you just answer it like a robot and they hire you. Or answer however you want, really, I think. As long as you don't...
That was today?
As long as you don't tell the truth, they'll give you the job.
That was today?
That was today.
What would the truth be that you thought that would not get you the job? Just why you wanted to go?
Why are you coming to Cargill? To understand how horrible it is. Well, if somebody offered you a job, would you accept it? Hell yeah. Well, I asked her once, like, well, she asked me, well, do you have any questions for me? And I said, yeah, I have some questions, maybe. I was just thinking, I said, well, how do you like it? Keep people from feeling just like bad about doing the same thing over and over again? Or he said, well, we alternate shifts. Well, how do you give a voice to the employees, you know? Or how do you make them feel important? Well, you can complain to your manager. Well, what if you have, problems with your wrist or something for all that cutting? Well, we have a nurse for emergencies. You go immediately to the nurse if you cut yourself or something. So
it sounds like you were asking her questions based on your previous knowledge. Did you ask her how much you would get paid? Do you know that?
No, I didn't ask anything like that.
Do you know the wage?
No.
What about healthcare benefits? What about anything like that? Did you ask her that sort of stuff?
No.
Did you ask her how many hours you might get?
She said, no, I didn't ask that, but she said, well, this line works from usually like 7 or sometimes 8 in the morning to like usually 5 or 6, but you have to be available from 7 to 7 because there's no second shift in this line.
12 hours?
You have to be available from 7 to 7.
Wait.
And because there's no second shift. So we have to, that line has to finish all of their stuff before they can leave. And she also asked me like, well, can you work overtime and can you work weekends? And she sort of said it in a way that if you said no, it sort of felt like
that you wouldn't get hired.
Yeah.
So how many hours would you be? You don't know how many hours.
I don't know. You
just know that you have to be available at those times.
Uh-huh.
You don't know how long the shift is?
What?
Well, it's just that for not trying to be obvious about, well, I guess you're not trying to be obvious.
I'm trying to be truthful, but truth is like not really sensitive to people.
So, I guess that leads me to my next question. What do you think, what do you think it's going to be like?
Well, that's an important question because I got to the in waiting room for the interview, and and there's this like big laughing lady like blundering through, and there are these like different people like laughing and talking, and I thought that it was gonna be like this drudgery, horrible place, and there are these really cool people just working, and I mean, the people that came in to apply were sort of like scared and belittled. I don't know, but I don't know. I see where it's like the other guy who was interviewing that I was talking to for a while told me, yeah, well, my girlfriend works here and she's worked here for a long time, and she says it's a real good job. It's a real good place to work. And I said, yeah, I heard it was really hard. And he's, yeah, it's real hard, but it's a real good place to work. So I'm trying to like let go of what I mean, I'm keeping in mind how I've seen other people react to this company and this working place, but I'm also trying to keep like an open mind, sort of, and just like what happens to try to experience.
Yeah. Any techniques for how you might do that?
Techniques for how I might keep an open mind. I guess
keep an open mind.
Actually, what I want to do, I really, is sort of have the experience of, or sort of see it from different perspectives from people in that situation. So that's what I was doing sort of in the initial interview process, and I think I want to keep doing that. So, however I find ways to do that.
And I think you'll be good at that because you're good at talking and engaging with people.
Mm-hmm. And I've also sort of had a lot of experience with people from these cultures. So especially like Latin American culture. So maybe I have a little bit more sensitivity to how they might react to. And I just came from El Salvador. So to walk into a big factory, like, I don't know.
So one thing to add about Cargill is that it's a place of multiple ethnicities. Or it's, from my perspective, that's what I've heard about it. That a lot of different immigrants, usually poor people, work there.
Whatever poor means.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I said that with a really negative connotation, and I don't want to say that.
What's interesting is that we are using an iPad right now. We're in a 3-story house, and my mom is a professor at a university, and this is a university student, and my dad is a candidate for a doctorate program, and each person in my house has a computer, and we have a Prius, and I've traveled all over the world, and I'm going to school in August. I'm going to a university, and so with things like that said, maybe and my skin is white, that I'm also coming in from that, and I'm coming in as a middle class or upper middle class white male, and to see with that is very confident, has a lot of success in my life, or success as they say it, and so to see what that is, and to be aware of that. That's the interview process. I guess we'll next, and they said, well, could you come in Tuesday? Today's Thursday.
Wednesday.
Could you come in Tuesday? Tuesday, at noon to get a tour. So that's a week away. So it doesn't happen real. They don't hire real fast, I guess.
Right. So you'll start working Tuesday, or
I don't
it's
know.
a tour. You said?
It's a tour to see what they do on the line and stuff. So yeah.